Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. Isaiah 41:10. To talk about our patriarch, Papa John's life, we will have to look at it from his perspective, which was narrated to his family. His life's journey and footprints have been categorized as he and only him will put it. The Cradle. My name is John Shonga Patrick Welashey. I was born on the 9th of September 1939 in Banja Bafang to Mammy Pauline and Papa Jean Yunju as the oldest of 6 children. In my early childhood years, I was adopted by my uncle, Papa Simon Shonga, who not only raised me in Tico under his tutelage and guidance, but also gave me his name, hence Jean Shonga Welashey, as I am known by many today. Life in Tico. I was privileged to live in the intermediate quarters of Elders and Fies, a corporation then in British Cameroons, where Papa Simon Shonga served as senior overseer at the processing division for the drying and parceling of bananas for exportation. I attended St. Joseph's Catholic School, Tico, and passed the standard 6 first school leaving certificate in 1952. I then took the entrance exam for college and successfully gained admission into the then only prestigious St. Joseph's College of Sassay. My formative years, Sassay College. While in Sassay, I learned a bunch of qualities which I added onto my already impressive values of organization, intelligence, and hard work. A winning, enduring, and athletic spirit, being a member of the college's athletic team, where I would train and run the 880-mile races. A curious outlook for new discoveries and a risk bearer. As chief scout of the school's scouting club, I would organize and participate in outdoor camping activities such as mountain climbing, swimming, overnight bush camping stays. Did my stay in Sassay have road bumps? Yes, it did during my final year. From the drive and thirst for the pursuit of academic excellence during my final year. After passing the GCEO level exam outside the confines of Sassay, I became resolute in my quest for educational advancement. I secured a scholarship to study in Moscow, Russia. A venture which then required multiple efforts and interventions that ranged from assistance via the Kwame Nkrumah campus in Ghana through Guinea, transits in Czechoslovakia, and the final destination, Russia. In 1967, I graduated with a Master's of Science degree in Radio and Telecommunication Engineering from Moscow's Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication. I eventually returned home after being solicited by the Cameroon former president during his tour to Moscow, where he addressed the student body, of which I was secretary, and overtly welcomed our resourcefulness. When I arrived in Cameroon, there were a few political affiliations clarified as I was able to begin my professional career. My professional career spanned over 30 years, with highlights and extended periods in the following areas of innovative developments, to name a limited few. August 1967 through March 1973 was graced by my service as pupil engineer, Chief of Radio and Transmissions in West Cameroon. I then became Chief of Service for Transmissions at the Ministry of P&T, Yaoundé, and subsequently Provincial Chief of Communications for the Littoral and Western Provinces. I led multiple pilot plans on the installation, development, and maintenance of very high-frequency technology and radio transmission systems and relay stations. In the early 70s, I set out proposals that championed my vision for the creation of an international communication corporation for the nation. The goal, also, was for it to leverage its stance of prime benefactor from yielded gains for the nation. The fusing of ideas from my proposals with resources from British cable and wireless technology and Intelsat, international telecommunications satellite systems, led to the creation of Intelcam, International Telecommunication Systems of Cameroon, and birth of its satellite center, Zamingwe, simultaneously to foster global communication for the nation. I was appointed in April of 1973 to serve as Chief Engineer and Managing Director of Zamingwe Satellite Center, which was built under my auspices. Till this day, it stands out as one of the best international telecommunication systems in Africa. Rooting and branding Zamingwe internationally through collaborative networking efforts attracted, won, and sealed for Cameroon a timely long-term tender made by Intelsat for Cameroon. Provide a satellite maintenance station and system from where Intelsat will monitor telemetry and telecontrol Intelsat satellites in orbit in the Atlantic and Indian Ocean regions. At the time, when there was no television broadcasting company, transmitter facilities were built in Zamingwe to enable our nation to receive and transmit international images. I would host dignitaries of our nation, our former and present president inclusive, that would visit the center not only for official tours, but also for leisure entertainments during important world events, sports tournaments, and more. My career peaked in 1978 through 1997 and became three-dimensional. Managing Zamingwe's Earth Station, appointed as representative of Africa Group 2 on Intelsat's Board of Governors Advisory Committee on Technical Matters in Washington, D.C., and a rise to the rank of Engineer General and Advisor to the Technical Director of Intelcam. The birth of Intelcam Douala became a reality from the framework and my wealth of expertise from building and managing Zamingwe Center while serving laterally at Intelcam Yaoundé. I earned multiple awards in innovation and excellence along the way, notably Knight of the Order of Valor, Officer and Commander of the Cameroon Order of Merit, Silver and Gold Labor Merits, recognitions and awards of appreciation by Intelcam, USAID, Intelsat, and British Cable and Wireless Corporation.
Papa, what are your life's values and principles?
My family, my 6 children, Aloysius, who left us all so early, Samuel, Galena, Larissa, Alita, and Frederick. My beloved wife, Maggie, that God has taken away from me in an untimely departure. I believe in honesty. Dishonesty appalls me. I have parted with most of my friends as a result of their acts of dishonesty. I practice good work ethics, diligence, and hard work in all that I do, the reason why I'm still alive today.
What's your philosophy about family? I ask because growing up, we lived with very interesting family dynamics. Some of your friends shied from embracing their family realities, but I saw you face its complexities without color coding a thing.
My family life, my philosophy. I love all members of both my immediate and extended families. I'm very hospitable, to the extent of depriving my children of the elitist life they deserved. People who lived with me can testify on the number of family members that my wife Maggie and myself took in, and we treated everyone in the household as one. My wife was my team player. In the process, we encountered gratitude for today some of these children have made it, which gives me joy. At the same time, we were faced with disrespect and disregard from my dear wife, especially from some who were not so considerate enough to understand and appreciate her values. Not knowing that Maggie was the internal pillar of who and what I represented, that they were all benefiting from it. I count myself as a successful telecommunication engineer that did a lot for that sphere of the profession in my country, Cameroon. I was very well paid, owing to the sensitive and tremendous role I played at Zemengwe for the nation of Cameroon, but I invested in my family. To a large extent, it was successful, but to some other extents, it was a failure because some disappointed me. Education was my biggest goal for all my family members. I insisted that everyone go to school, while making sure as much as possible that they were never lacking in school needs and resources academically or in vocational orientation.
What has been your greatest challenge in life?
Juggling my resources because I concentrated on family in the bid that we all rise.
What were your weakest moments in life?
Trust issues and breach of confidence in some friends and loved ones has been a great challenge for me to deal with. It breaks my spirit.
What is your definition of legacy?
Legacy, to me, means seeing growth in my family, steps ahead from where I hailed. This, I would say, I have successfully rooted for practically every home of our family tree. It reflects in the positive turnout of children of the family. When I look around, I see that it will trail behind when I depart from this world. It has been a painstakingly long process, but it now seems to be pulling together. I don't want any of my children to live a life of regrets for being my children, nor should it be the case with my extended family. My legacy is also the belief and feeling that in my society, I've been useful to myself, my society, and family. And in all my life, I have spent doing just this.
How did you meet with Mama Maggie?
My wife, Maggie. I met Maggie in West Cameroon, Victoria, specifically at Mr. John Sewoli's house. She spoke intelligently, was sound, and I observed her to be very grounded. As time went by, Maggie was born and raised in Nigeria, Enugu, although she originates from Bana, Bafang. We got married in April 1970 in Bua, and Maggie turned out to be the best woman that God Almighty gave me. She complemented me perfectly, and we planned out and executed our projects smoothly. Unfortunately for us, my wife died very young, an extremely difficult situation which, until this day, I give to God wholeheartedly. I have let him take control because the departure of Maggie was and still remains more than me. But I repeat, my wife was the best woman God gave me. Some loved ones would not take the time to understand her, and I was confronted with a lot of unnecessary and uncalled for family misunderstandings. It was a struggle. But those who knew me understood and appreciated us. I counted myself successful because for the time that Maggie bonded with me, she was there for me, the family at large. Bless her beautiful soul. And she is still with me. When I look around, I still see I am grateful to God. Regardless of the cold hands of death, I have promised Maggie that I will not let myself be crumbled by the pangs of death. That is all I have to say.
Talk to me about your social life, Christian beliefs, and what else you think people should know about you.
I have interfaced socially by playing well with the rules and regulations of society. My social life has been good. I live a life of honesty. I owe no one, and I interact with sheer transparency. I have many friends and belong to many organizations that date as far back as during my school years. I sat in the key role of treasurer in most meetings, which you well know means trust and appreciation. These are due to the fact that while in Russia, I developed social skills by living and interacting with people of diverse races and ways of life, unfamiliar to my baseline. Also, considering that I was the secretary of the Cameroon student union body groomed me in leadership skills, most especially the value of leading with diversity. Russia built in me survival skills, discipline, resilience, traits which till this day, as I narrate to you, keep me moving, although I feel weak and my bones ache. For my Christian beliefs, let me start by saying that I am not religious. I'm a practicing Christian and CMA, Catholic Men Association member. I walk and act my faith, and not talk about my faith. I am a do-it with the Word through my daily Christian works here on earth.
Ongelemba munyenge yo simbana wa